Hi, my name is David Anthony Wiggins, and I am a Republican Party candidate for mayor of Baltimore City in 2020. And I shall be running in the Republican Party primary against Catalina Bird, Bill Hurd, and a woman who calls herself Pastor Shannon Wright. This is my first video of this campaign, and I'm coming to you to say to you that we are being fed a bill of goods in the media with regards to this issue of a city in crisis. We are told that the crime problem is out of hand in Baltimore City. However, the very same media that is manufacturing the city in crisis narrative is the very same media that bought you Sheila Dixon and her corruption, that bought you Nathaniel Oakes, Cheryl Glenn, the Healthy Holly scandal with Catherine Pugh. This is the media that endorsed these people, the Baltimore Sun, WBAL, WJZ, WMAR, WBFF. The media has manufactured this crisis in Baltimore City. They tell us that the crimes are being perpetrated by violent repeat offenders and that we must go after violent repeat offenders. Well, as a Baltimorean who has lived in this city on and off all of my life, have worked in and around this city as an iron worker, as a paralegal, there are things that the media, when it comes to the issue of crime, is not telling us, has not considered, and has not been honest and forthright with the people. Let's take murder in the city. Murders in the city happen for several reasons, we are told. Drugs, retaliation and revenge for things that happen in the prison system between gangs, domestic issues. And then there's this other category of no motive, no suspect murders. Well, we have a thriving Asian community of businesses, corner stores, mom and pop stores owned by Pakistanis, owned by Indians, owned by Arabs, owned by Koreans, and just about everyone, Hispanics, but very little are owned by the black majority in this city. And in these corner stores and at these corner stores, very few of them are robbed, and very few of the merchants have been subject to any murder. Since crime is supposed to be random in this city, some of it is violently random, and some of it isn't. Some of it is targeted. Take the case of the woman whose husband and daughter murdered her and said it was the panhandlers, and the media immediately went after the squeegee kids. The media sold you a bill of goods that panhandlers and squeegee kids are the problem of crime in Baltimore. All the while, Mayor Catherine Pugh was committing crimes with Mike Miller and the Taylor guy that died and the board of the University of Maryland. That corruption was swept under the rug by the very media that is telling you that Baltimore is in crisis. The media is controlled by Donald Fry in the Greater Baltimore Committee. Donald Fry lives in Bel Air, Maryland. He controls the politicians in this city. But back to these businesses. Outside of most of them in the city, there is a thriving drug trade that the media doesn't speak about, that the police do not speak about. We are being told that it's black on black crime when 90% of the murders in Baltimore go unsolved. They have, according to the Baltimore Police Department and the FBI and the DEA and ATF, all of them which are here in this city, the FBI is flying a plane over the city now, and none of them can tell you who is committing the no motive, no suspect murders. But we're supposed to believe that it's black on black crime. We're being sold a bill of goods in this city. What drives crime in Baltimore City was public policy of welcoming immigrants, the sanctuary city of Catherine Pugh, Sheila Dixon, Martin O'Malley. The Democrats did this. They did this to you. The majority of the city is Democrat. The majority of the city is black. And they did this to you. The problem in the city is driven by public policy. The media champions as a public relations are for the city government. Some of the biggest advertising dollars of the media channels and Baltimore Sun paper, which is the only paper in this city, is from local, state, and federal government. But we, as the ordinary average citizen, we don't consider these facts. Most of us don't have time in our daily lives to research how government is run, what the public policies that come out of the Greater Baltimore Committee, what the public policies that come out of the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, the group of five governments, the heads of the five counties that surround Baltimore City, the Baltimore Metropolitan Council, in conjunction with the business community of the Greater Baltimore Committee, the Baltimore Development Corporation, the Downtown Partnership. These are the people who formulate and implement public policy. And these are the people who put Jack Young, who's been getting a homestead credit for a house, not for 1 year, but for probably more than 10 years that he's been in government. But the media sweeps that under the rug and sells you a bill of goods that these no motive, no suspect murders, black on black crime. Let me tell you something. If the city would not allow illegal aliens, illegal aliens, if the state of Maryland did not allow illegal aliens to work on state and city funded projects and would hire black youth in this city and give them jobs, give veterans jobs, give American citizens and green card holders, people who've come here legally, jobs before, and home opportunities and business opportunities before they did it for illegal aliens. Some of the crime in this city would drop. And I'm saying this as a United States Army veteran. This is my VA card. I'm not speaking on something that I don't know to be a fact. We have a problem here with public policy. We're being sold a bill of goods Now, I was listening to WBAL 1090 AM yesterday, and there's a woman by the name of Europezi Morgan who was floating about the idea that crime in Baltimore committed by blacks is because of teenage pregnancy and a genetic predisposition for crime. Well, Europezi lives on Cypress Road in Severna Park. WBAL Radio is located on Old Court Road in Randallstown. She doesn't live in the city. She doesn't have a connection to the city. But she's on the radio telling us that crime in the city is fueled by black teenage unwedded mothers' pregnancy. When the fact is, in Baltimore City, the fastest growing population of unwed mothers is illegal Hispanic community. That's just the truth. But we don't want to consider it. We don't talk about the illegal Hispanics and the MS-13 and other Central American gang drug cartels in Southeast Baltimore. We don't talk about the sex trafficking in Baltimore. And I doubt that any of the Republican candidates for mayor, with the exception of one probably, which would be Catalina Bird, maybe, might speak to these issues. But I doubt it. So again, here we are being sold a bill of goods by media that tells us that the city is in crisis. Well, I submit to you that the city is in crisis because the media, Governor Hogan, Jack Young, Brandon Scott, Eric Costello, and I could go on and on listing them, are in league with a public policy initiative to gentrify Baltimore, to implement the policies that were voiced by David Rusk and Baltimore Unbound, which was commissioned by Bob Embry's Able Foundation and published by Johns Hopkins, who experimented on poor black children with lead paint. And we know what lead paint causes. The city won't even pay the people that were harmed by lead paint the settlements that they are due. Stephanie Rollins Blake wouldn't pay them. Catherine Pugh won't pay them. Jack Young hasn't paid them. And the city council has done nothing. Now, let's get back to these corner stores, these mom and pop stores with these Asians and this drug trade and this murder rate. How is it that these stores are thriving and drug trade is clearly going on outside of their stores and they're never robbed? None of the merchants are ever murdered. How is that possible? But we're told on WOLB, WEAA by Carsonia K. Wise, Whitehead, Faraji Muhammad, and others over the airwaves that it's black on black crime. Well, in the United States, 95% of murders of white people in this country are committed by other white people. But we don't hear a narrative of white on white violence from the media. But this is a narrative because the Justice Department has chosen 7 cities with either a predominantly black or high black population to implement Operation Relentless Pursuit. Now, we've had the issue of persistent surveillance and the eye in the sky spy plane with Ross McNutt. The official military program is called Gorgon Stare. And everything that I'm saying in this video to you, you can research it. Just Google Gorgon Stare. Ross McNutt was operating in Baltimore under a fictitious corporation that wasn't registered. He was lobbying with people like uh, Stephen Copeland and Archie Williams and um, a couple other people whose names escape me. And forgive me, because there's so much that could be given to you by way of research that the media won't allow me to give it to you. The media never covered any of my campaigns. So we're being sold a bill of goods by people who don't live in Baltimore. And just some of the things I want you to consider. This video has gone on for 16 minutes and some odd seconds. I don't want to overload you, but I do want you to consider what I'm saying to you. Now, as for me, I've been the president of the Baltimore Black Think Tank. We were instrumental in going to the Department of Justice and getting the consent decree. And as a matter of fact, at a meeting with Kim Trueheart, Leo Barrows, Will Hanna, and others, Earl Saunders explained to the people, Patrick Henderson, that I, David Anthony Wiggins, had the only criminal complaint during the Department of Justice's investigation of the Baltimore police in 2016 that was forwarded to the criminal division of the Justice Department. And that led to the investigation of the Baltimore police for dealing drugs and guns, and ultimately an indictment against the Gun Trace Task Force. Now, we have a problem with corrupt police, corrupt politicians, but we want to say Baltimore is in crisis because the murder rate, the unsolved murder rate, the no suspect, no motive murder rate, which is the highest of all, is black on black crime. That is a lie. And it is a lie to gentrify the city for bike lanes that you didn't vote for all kinds of initiatives to gentrify and make white people feel safe in this city. And that's just the truth of it. And whether they vote for me, I'm telling the truth. We have a hands-on policy for Hispanics in this city. And if you don't give these people who are American citizens jobs, then the crime is going to continue. As for the retaliatory issue, you lock men up at central booking and you keep them in the same jumper for 30, 40, and 90 days at a time. You don't change their linen. You don't meet their medical needs. And then they have people robbing them for their little bit of commissary or whatever goods that their family send them money for, and they're fighting over the phones. That stuff spills over into the streets. You treat men like animals, and they're going to come back on these streets like animals. You know, it's sad. It's sad what government, what corrupt government has done to this city in the name of public policy that is formulated chiefly by Donald Fry, who lives in Harford County in Bel Air. With that, I just want to say to you, forgive me, that you can't believe everything that you hear on the radio and on the television. And the people who are working in these streets, the people who are out here with the grassroots, they won't get airtime because what we do for you, and we do it without pay, without remuneration, and without recognition. So, this is my first video. This is just the first one. Alhamdulillah. There will be many more, and I will definitely tell you things that no one else has ever told you before. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Research what I said and consider everything that I've said to you, because everything I've said to you is the truth.